The Struggling Artist Record Club is a vinyl record subscription service where I hunt and curate the best punk and punk-adjacent music out there and mail their record to your door each and every month. Imagine finding your new favorite band from across the country without ever having to leave the house. It doesn't get much better than that. The excitement of discovering new music just got that much easier. As a member of the Struggling Artist Record Club, you are going to receive some of the best music you've ever heard from bands you may never even heard of. Whether you've been collecting records for years or just starting out, the Struggling Artist Record Club is designed specifically for you. And right now, all new members get a Struggling Artist Record Club exclusive along with the monthly selection. So head to StrugglingArtistRecordClub.com, pick a membership, and start building that collection today. Are you a band, artist, or event coordinator and tired of being a victim to the algorithm? Do your show announcements get lost with fans missing out on your gigs? Well, say goodbye to that hassle, because the StrugglingArtistPodcast.com has just launched a brand new, super easy event submission form. You just fill out the event or band name, the show details, and then you hit submit, and that's it. Your event instantly appears on the beautiful new interactive calendar, keeping your fans in the know. It's the simplest way to get your show or your event in front of the right people. No more missed gigs, no more missing a show due to an algorithm. Submit your next show or event in just 30 seconds. Go to the StrugglingArtistPodcast.com and click on Event Submission now.
You're listening to the Struggling Artist Podcast.
People need to be entertained. They need the distraction.
With your host, Trev Allen.
I wish to God that somebody would do something to block out the voices in my head for 5 minutes.
Hello, everybody. Today, our guest is Micah Sattly of the band Unseemlier. I absolutely love this band, and you will too, I'm sure. This conversation was so good. We talked from everything from mental health to songwriting to just our age, and it was a lot of fun. Stick around to the end of the episode to hear a song off of their album, I Have a Screw Loose Somewhere. This is episode 370 of the Struggling Artist Podcast, Struggling with Unseemlier. We met at right, was it right before Pooza? Yeah, I think I met you at the Coffin Salesman show the night before.
Yeah, Goodbye, Blue Monday, and Coffin Salesman at Faces. Yep.
Yeah, and then we ran into each other obviously at Pooza. I saw Little Low play, which was an absolute delight to do. So
nice. Thank you.
And then we've run into each other here and there. I've noticed since then. You book shows, right? You book show, and I didn't know you book shows at O'Brien's. Badass metal shows at O'Brien's.
Yeah.
So, do you stick to metal there, or do you kind of float all over?
No, honestly, I rarely do metal. It was just, I lived in Oakland for like 9 years, and I booked shows while I was out there. The kids I made friends with when I moved back to Boston started hitting me up, and I guess this Oakland metal band that I wasn't friends with found my Instagram just because other Oakland bands had reposted it, and they asked me to hook them up with the show. So I actually met Glowing Brain that night. I didn't know them from like living out in the Bay or anything. But
okay.
O'Brien's, I do anything, really. Any style I'll try to bring to O'Brien's if it's something that I personally like, or something where it's like a smaller touring band that I don't know if if they're having a hard time and I don't think they're going to get something else, but I like them, I'll try it anywhere in the city, really. I'm not, I don't like to divide, I don't like dividing lines. Like, I don't book one genre. I don't book one place. And yeah, I try not to book the same 4 bands on every single show just because I like I don't like that personally, and I'm hoping that resonates with other people, you know?
Yeah, no, I think so. I think so. I think that's awesome. That's where like where I always talk like so people talk about like the scene, and I'm like I call it a community because it's like that, like what you're doing. Like you try not to like pigeonhole anything, it seems like.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like it is a community, and like the old adage is like it takes a village. Like it's not like I'm not the only one who books shows. I hope I'm not the only one who thinks that way when I do book shows or when other people book shows. But yeah, I just don't want it to seem like performative or like I'm only hooking up my friends' bands. I only like this one style of music because putting your life in a box it's useless. It's annoying. There's no room for growth. You're never going to play to new people. You're never going to meet new people. And you're going to have the same experiences over and over again at the same place with the same bands. You know, nothing new or exciting is going to come to you from that.
And I was just thinking just now, it just popped into my head. So I edit a podcast for somebody. And I was doing like he's like, oh, I got new episodes in there, and one was with you, Scott at DCPC.
Oh, you edit his? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like part of his like little production team. So I was like, oh, I know this guy.
Yeah. Hell yeah. No, I saw DCXPC and I knew what the live recordings were about. But then when Scott tagged us on a playlist that he put us on, I was like, oh, cool. And then I saw that he also did a podcast. So, you know, naturally I'm like, all right, I'm on my fucking album promotion tour. Let's see what he's into. Let's see if he's interested in having me on, because he put us on a playlist. And, you know, from there, like we had a really good conversation. I think honestly, anybody who watches this and is from Massachusetts is probably like, oh yeah, it's wild that Mike is talking this much because he's normally in the corner with his arms crossed alone. I always forget that I like talking a lot for some reason.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
It brings it out in podcasts. But I think Scott was like trying to go, and I was like, no, man, like, what's your daughter going to school in Buffalo for? Like,
I saw how that. I heard him say, Trev, cut this out. So I cut that part out, you know?
Yeah, I just kept the combo going for some reason. But yeah, it's funny. Until like, honestly, like for the 5 minutes before this one too, I was like, shit, what am I going to say? Like, oh, you're such an idiot. Why do you do this to yourself? But, you know, you just get a flow at things, and, you know, I'm sure, you know, the hosts help. I don't always know exactly what to talk about, but, if you get me talking, I'll tell 5,000 fucking stories about something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's how I met Scott. It was a cool conversation, and I hope one of the bands gets to play. He books in the Hudson Valley, so like above the city, below Albany in New York. Hopefully, we'll get on one of those shows at some point.
Yeah, I think he will. He's a stand-up dude, and I met him through like a network group of like podcasters and label owners, and we hit it off. I had him on, and then when he approached me about helping him, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that, you know. So, something you just said, I get the same, I don't know, outlook from other people too. I'm just the guy who stands in the back, you know.
Yeah. It might just be so like actual physical. So like I'm sitting in my living room right now talking into a computer. It's not like I cringe at something I said, but whatever, you know. But like, it's not going to be a memory someone has of me talking some awful shit at O'Brien's, and like I'm just, you know, whatever. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny to not be the social creature that people don't know you as, you know. Especially as someone like you said who like books shows, and like I have to, when I book a show, I have to be like, oh hey, you're not from the city, you know nothing about this. Go here if you're vegan. Go here if you like skateboarding.
Awesome.
Anything you need, let me know. And then, you know, I go to my corner and sequester myself over by the water for a couple hours. Unless
I tell you, I do the same thing. I worked in bars for a long time, and like I remember I was down in Tennessee, and like I had like a group of regulars that always come in, and when I'm behind the bar, I'm like super. It's like when I'm doing the podcast, I'm super extroverted, right? So like I'm always like they're always having a good time. So then they invite me to like this like 4th of July party or something, and I go, and I'm just standing there, and they're like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm having fun." Like, you know,
I'm having a great time, and you're like, you're not the guy I know though. And
yeah.
I'm not being paid to be here right now behind the bar, you know, or I don't have
Right. Yeah.
to. It's not always on, you know.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean we're not having fun. It's just our face. That's what I always say. I'm like, this is just
Yeah.
my face. We can't change that.
Actually, Tom C, who plays guitar in Little Low, one time he called it resting shore face because I'm from the South Shore, and Ken's gonna laugh about this, and fucking Jeff's gonna laugh about this. I know one of them called me out on the podcast once from being proud of being from the South Shore or from Stoughton or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, Tom C was like, oh yeah, you have resting shore face because, I don't know. There's the mass hole thing, but I feel like there's also part of it that is like kind of a product of people from the South Shore. Like we do seem to just be ruder or harder, whatever you would call it. I don't know. Harder cookies to crack or whatever. But yeah, so like Tom C called it resting shore face. And now I don't know if an Unseemlier song was named that and didn't make it on the album, or if it's in my bank of like new song titles, but it's somewhere. You'll see it soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about the fact that you have two albums that came out within like a couple months of each other. Like, is that stressful for you? Like, is that like, because you have, like you said, like you kind of have to promote both, right?
Yeah. Again, it's like the one thing I thought about before the podcast was like specifically not knowing balance in life, because I know this episode's called "Struggling with Unseemlier." I'm 38 and I still jump into things like I'm 21. Like I'm like, oh, you want to record 2 albums and promote 2 albums, and both bands have to play 3 nights a week for 4 months, and you're also booking shows, and you have a job and everything. I don't. At 38, I'm learning balance. Which is a weird thing to say, but like it's always just been like gung ho. And the reason I thought about it today is because this is a perfect example of not knowing balance. I think back in March or April, I agreed to run the Falmouth Road Race, which is like a 10K, 7 miles. I'm not a runner. I have ran 5 times, including today, since April. 3 of them were 1 mile. Last week, I ran 3 miles on a treadmill. And then today, in the like 90-degree muggy horse shit that I'm going to have to run in this Sunday that I'm not prepared for.
Sunday?
Yeah, it's this Sunday. I think I ran like roughly 2 to 2.5 miles outside. And yeah.
I want to talk about the new record for Unseemlier. I have a screw loose somewhere. First off, I love the title. Because I really feel like it relates to me. I think it relates to a lot of people. Yeah, so I was like, well, first off, let's talk about the band a little bit. So from what I was reading, like, this was you and some like lifelong buddies that made this band?
So basically, November of last year, we recorded the LP. So the November before that would have been when the first practice was. So it's going to be like 3 years in this November. But yeah, I think I got a space at Studio 52. We wrote 5 songs, where it was just me, Kevin, and Pina. And then we went and recorded them with my friend Jason Tucker in Dorchester. And, I think the last recording session was vocals only, and I had Andrea actually come because at that point she was in the band. But, I had already recorded bass for the songs, for the 5-song demo, or EP, whatever you would call it. But yeah, it was basically the EP and the beginning of the band was proof of concept, because I didn't know if I could actually do this style of music and feel comfortable doing it. I don't sing and play guitar in bands. It's not something I've ever done. So I mean, I've done backups while playing guitar, but never, ever been like main vocalist with an instrument. I can sing and play drums better than I can sing and play guitar, which a lot of people find odd. But it's just because drums are old hand. It's the instrument I've done the longest. And but yeah, so I had Pina and Kevin on board. And I didn't really want to ask anybody else, because if I was like, oh no, this shit sucks, I'm throwing in the towel, like I didn't want to waste anybody else's time or money. But by the time we recorded the EP, or like by the first recording session for the EP, I was like, all right, well, let's just actually make this like a full band. And then we played, I think we recorded it in March. And then the first show was like April 14th or something like that. And yeah, Andrea played the first show with us. So that's when we actually started to probably be a real band. And that's going to be 2 years now, is what I'd say. From this November, it'll be like 2 years of like full throttle, have been playing shows, recorded a record and a half because an EP's, half a record or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely it was like the thing I was worried about most was like, can I play and sing and like do it justice in my own head? Because you're always your own worst critic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been going great. And honestly, like every song title's tongue in cheek. And I'm always, whenever anybody's like, oh yeah, you guys play great, of course I think of 10 things that I fucked up personally during the set. But
it's the hardest just to accept the compliment, right? Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like also, you have to like fight yourself not to be like, "Wow, I did this."
It's probably it's probably also the same thing that makes me stand in the corner of a room alone of people that I'm like-minded people that I'm friends with, and I'm still just like, "Oh, hey, yeah, it was great to see you. I'm going to be over here by myself." But that part of it's always going to be the nerve-wracking part. Like, and just, I'm trying to let go of being super judgmental of myself, which is another funny thing to learn at 38, aside from like learning balance in life. I need to really stop giving a fuck about like just doing what I actually want to do and enjoying it and not being so critical, because no one that plays these shows or goes to these shows is, fucking, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the most professional person on the planet, but, yeah. No one that goes to these shows is I don't know, Bill Clinton or something. Anyway.
No, yeah, I know. I hear you because like I get the same way with everything I do, and like I think that's part of the reason why like now like who we were talking about earlier, like I just have to go do things now. Like I'm just gonna do this thing because I should have done this 25 years ago, but I didn't because I was nervous about this or I had anxiety about that. And, so yeah, man, I totally get that. And I'm happy you're doing this because from the moment, like when Christine sent me the album link, like I was blown away by it. Like your vocal delivery and like in like the cadence of it is like awesome. It's something, and it reminds me of a I don't know. It reminds me of like an older school kind of like hardcore kind of delivery. You know what I mean? Like the where it was like, I don't know. I was just something I've always like I was accustomed to from when I was younger.
Yeah.
And like everything's changed over the years, right? Everything's changed. And I'm not saying it's bad or it's worse or whatever. It's just different, right? And to have that familiar sound, like that familiar cadence in a song, I think helped me relate to it that much more.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I used to sing in hardcore bands. That's why. That was my main. And then it's the funny thing is people will be like, "Oh yeah, Little O's a hardcore band." And it's because of the way I play drums because I used to play drums in hardcore bands.
Right.
So
I just think of music today like just like I try not to like I'm like yeah it's got this and this element and this element like I don't like we were saying I can't just be like this is I don't know like struggle core or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't feel a need for that. It's just music. It's rock and roll. It's all rock and roll.
With Unseemlier, I came up with heavy emo or soft punk because, I'm punk and I book punk shows and I'll always be a punk. There's that's never going to change. I'm fucking, I've lasted long enough where like the lifer thing, it's just who I am and it's who I'm always going to be. Whether it's in like the way I decide to live outside of a scene or a community in real life, I'm always gonna wear all my clothing until it's falling off my fucking body. I'm gonna be as cheap as possible forever. I'm always gonna try to think about the harm I'm doing to I would be doing to other people around me or animals or whatever. Like I'm always gonna think about the environment and like the things that you learn from punk when you're younger. That's always going to be who I am. I'm never going to give that up now, I'm already too far gone. I'm still a freak. So you know, like I came up with heavy emo soft punk because I have to describe the band to other people.
Yeah.
Like I
yeah.
don't care. And like that's the thing, like if I hear a band, I'm like, oh shit, this rocks, or oh shit, this honks. I don't need a genre. If I like it, I like it. And if I don't, I don't. And that extends, like my main joke is like, kids will see me storming through the skate park, full speed, headphones in, and they're like, oh, that dude's either ripping like Metallica or Slayer, or like if they know about punk and hardcore, I don't know, fucking whatever, Converge, some shit. 9 times out of 10, it's like Darude Sandstorm or like Carly Rae Jepsen or some shit. Like I skate to like techno and pop. Like that's
Yeah.
what I like. And I like that shit to this day. Like I love
Yeah.
all that stuff. That's and I never cared, you know, when we were growing up, my friends were like, oh, I've got a mohawk. I only listen to fucking the Unseen, or like, and you're an idiot because you like the Get Up Kids. My friends like the Get Up Kids would be like, oh, you're weird. You like Converge. Like I liked it all. I never dressed a certain way. I never like I just was who I was, and I never subdivided. And I feel like when what we were talking about earlier, like there doesn't need to be that division, and I don't want a genre for my band. I want you to listen to it. And if you fucking like it, you do. And if you don't, you don't, you know? Same thing with like, you know, genres get goofy with like scene politics or whatever you would say. Like people who's cool, good dudes backed hard, like all that stuff. Like I don't give a fuck who you are. If your band rocks, you rock. I'd rather not see a picture of you. I'd rather not see if you dress. I think you dress like an asshole. Because if you dress like an asshole, but I like your music, that's what I'm judging, is your music, is whatever, you know, it doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. As long as you're not, you know.
Piece of shit.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing. Separating the
yeah.
art from the artist only goes so far type shit.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But
Right
yeah.
on.
So yeah, Unseemlier has been wonderful and daunting at the same time, is where I'll end that one.
No, I like it, man. I hope to be able to catch a show soon with you guys, because
Yeah.
it's like I said, it's right up my alley. Like
Nice.
it's just, you know, it's just, and again, like it's got this like it's got all these different elements, so it doesn't have to be anything in particular like we were just talking about. So I think that, and then like lyrically, like, you know, I mean, you're singing about struggles, and you know what I mean, and like that's, you know, to me that's what I gravitate, like I like all things, but like I think I gravitate more to like lyrical content that is like that talks about issues like within yourselves, because, you know, you know, I'm a little older, but like growing up, like we weren't allowed to talk about mental health and shit. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
you know, and if I did, I'd probably be a lot fucking different than I am. You know.
I did a podcast about that exact thing too, and like I was talking about everyone I talk about, or I mean everyone, it's like, oh, like let's, you know, someone's coming up with some idea. That podcast was specifically about how I still won't go get mental health help at 38 because of the way I was raised, and like beating that, like, because a lot of the Unseemlier record is essentially about that. It's about my mental health. Also what we talked about earlier, not knowing how to slow the fuck down, you know, like just pushing yourself way too hard. But yeah, it's like it's always been a hard thing to talk about, and you know, and like frowned upon, like you said, like you know, a lot of like no one even said the term toxic masculinity like in public until like, you know, 2010-ish era of stuff. And like, you know, it's the world is evolving. I want to evolve with it, and I also want to be gentler on myself because I wasn't taught that growing up, and you also were not taught that growing up. But that's also another thing where the heavy emo moniker came in. The topics of the songs, like, because a lot of people are like, oh, emo, you're crying about you lost your girlfriend, like blah blah blah. You know, like everybody has their preconceived notions. Like, no, I'm talking about losing my high school best friend to heroin. I'm talking about fucking, you know, being beaten up for being too soft, you know, like the like actual heavy shit that I've experienced in my life, as opposed to, you know, because everybody's going to have some preconceived notion. If you sound emo, or you just say that you're an emo band, oh, all your songs are crying about an ex. And it's like, that's not what it is.
Yeah,
But
that's just dipshits not wanting to like, I don't know. I get frustrated with that because like I started therapy in 2016. And like I didn't talk for like the first year. I'd answer questions, but I didn't go in there and like trust this person. You know what I mean? I kept it all in, and then I finally like and I think because of my therapy is why this podcast became kind of what it was, because like I started doing that I started like talking about mental health on the podcast. We have episodes that are like I do like these ones called Struggling with Ourselves, and like it's just me talking about like some shit that I went through or where I'm going through, or it's because like the number one, and this is something that relates to punk rock too, if I could be honest. Like the number one thing that got me into punk rock and and has me do what I do with this podcast is like because I always felt isolated and alone, and we're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to be able to get out there and like and again, that's I mean I remember like that's what it was for punk rock when I was like, oh, someone else feels like this. You know what I mean? Like it just with me, you know?
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely I think punk rock has always been a blessing and a burden because it made me the freak that I am, but it allowed me to be the freak that I always was going to be anyway, you know?
Mhm.
Like it gave me the perfect vehicle to be angry when I need to be angry, sad when I need to be sad. It taught me to not be a piece of shit, to care about the people around me more than, cause I think that it sucks, but even like today in society, like my values and ethics are vastly different than the average 38-year-old white man in America. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot more they're I see it's reflected even in my own father where, not to get too far into it, but like growing up, he's the one who taught me empathy. And now with the Fox News and the culture shift and the way the world is nowadays, it's all about protecting your own and all this shit. And it's like, no, you taught me to give my neighbor the shirt off my back if they needed it. Like where has that gone? And I feel like punk is what gave me that vehicle where all of that extended. And like I am still that person who learned those lessons at a young age instead of just, assimilating to normal society. And
Mhm.
you know, just I hate, normal people are fine or norms or whatever people call it, but it just seems like a lot of people I encounter who don't have that background have, less of a communal mindset, and they have less of an empathetic mindset, and it's more so like I'm getting my bills paid, and you know they don't. It seems joyless, honestly, to exist in that society and not have something like punk, um, to like bounce different ideas off of or like get a different perspective from. Um, but yeah, it's been a blessing and a burden because I'm broke at 38 as well. But
Yeah, I hear you. I
just
hear
'cause I
you.
care more about other things,
Yeah.
that punk taught me.
Right on. Yeah. So from like and kind of like what you're saying, like I grew up where I grew up and the people I grew up with, like to kind of see them like assimilate like the way they did over the last, we'll
Yeah,
say 4 years, 5 years or so, like, I'm like, "What happened?" You know what I mean? Like, I just I don't understand. Like, I was like, maybe I was not thinking the same way or what? They were just I don't know. It's just a tough little thing sometimes to grab hold of, you know? Um, yeah, so but, like, yeah, like I said, man, these songs, like, every single one of them like, hits you know what I mean? And they're heavy. They're heavy tunes. Like, they really, like make you think. And I think a lot of people who listen to it or haven't listened to it but will be listening to it, like they're gonna get that like, hey, I'm not alone feeling from this, you know, like
yeah,
being able to relate and like being able to put yourself out there and like, um I know you say you don't go to therapy, but like this has to be like cathartic, right? Like doing
100%.
writing these songs and putting that out there and you know.
If this record helps someone half as much as it helped me to like write it and get it off my chest, then it's done its job. And but I mean, even if nobody liked it, like again, like I've only heard one complaint in a review, and it was that the sound clips kill the vibe, which I don't get because 2 of them are buried in songs. And
Yeah.
the other 2 are fucking hilarious. But either way, I feel like that's I feel like
I have a
that's a
note
thing
about that.
what?
I have a note about that,
All right,
dude.
hit me with it.
They don't do that enough anymore. We don't
Exactly.
have. There's no more. People don't do enough bits, and they don't have enough little samples of like stuff.
Yeah.
It used to be a common thing. You
Yeah,
know?
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I miss-
I appreciated it, dude.
Hell
I
yeah.
really. Even on the first EP you guys put out, there was some on there too.
But yeah, that one, there was a fucking 2.5-minute Goodwill Hunting speech at the end of Yeah.
I don't know. I like it. I think it's great. I think it also like it kind of it does a couple things. I think one, it kind of keeps people's attention because now there's something different going on, you know. But also, I think it kind of breaks up from the heaviness a little bit, right? And I think. I know, like with me, like I fucking make fun of myself, and that's how I cope with my struggles. So why not have a bit, or a sample in a song? Whoever wrote that, I just don't think they're funny people.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I got curbed at 4. They only let me get the 4 on the LP. The rest of the band was like, "That's enough." But I'd do beginning and end of every single song if I had my way. I have a notes app in my phone that is miles long. So you'll get some more. Don't worry about it. They're coming.
Good. You're gonna put out a B-sides and it's just those.
I mean, honestly, so the vinyl itself doesn't have the sound clips on it. And I think it's because sometimes a pressing plant will reject it if you don't get the rights to it. And I'm like, I'm in a band that, we're probably going to sell 100 of these things. Like, no one's ever going to... Jack Black, unless you tag him in this, is never going to know that I used his voice for 2 seconds on an LP that's going to fall into obscurity in 10 years from now. And even if he does, he's probably going to think it's fucking funny because he has a sense of humor and he fucking rocks. Same with Adam Sandler and anyone else that's on Danny DeVito, and then the cast of I Heart Hugabees. Those are the 4. It's all, that's the no mystery.
No mystery.
No mystery. It's those people. But yeah, no, it's like, I think it adds a little something to it. And like, some of them, like the song that has the clip before and after it, it's about the stress of working. And like, the first clip is the Jack Black, I hate my job, I'm gonna burn this mother down thing. And then the very end is Adam Sandler begging for a job in a bank because he's broke, like, I don't know. Not to go too far into it, I don't think I'm a fucking genius or anything, but I thought that shit was great. I thought it was
I think it worked. I think it worked very well.
But and yeah, there's plenty more in my notes app, so don't worry about it. I'm never changing that. But yeah, no, the again, writing this record, like it was something I felt like I had to do, and I definitely I will apologize to the people around me while I was writing this record because I was probably pretty insufferable. But yeah, I've always had shit to say, and you don't always have a great way to say it. So, I started another band to say that shit, and people like it, or people have liked it so far. So I'm very thankful for that too. Cause again, when you're your own harshest critic, if someone else says something, you're like, oh, maybe I don't suck that bad. Maybe this could be good. Who knows? And then you end up here talking about your own record and cringing. But
So, how did you meet like Sell the Heart? Did you meet Andy while you were out in California? Is that how you?
Yeah. So, Andy does Sell the Heart up in like Petaluma / Santa Rosa, which is like a little bit north of where I was living. But, I was booking shows in the Bay, and he hit me up one time and was like, hey, I got this band. I think the first show I booked of a band that was on his label might've been the Dread Laramie. But he's like, yeah, can you do the show? I see you book shows in Oakland. He came down to the show. And at that specific show, we had a really good conversation about like how he would put out records for bands that would just seem to like think that they would just sell, and, wouldn't be on a podcast talking about the record or, wouldn't do much for it. And then he'd have like 100 laying in his closet. And I'm just like, dude, like I've been in bands where like, sadly, the record didn't sell and it is definitely rotting in someone's closet right now. I wish I had more control over that, but you always have to hustle. You always have to do it. We had a really, really good conversation about it. So, when it was time for Unseemlier to put out the EP, I was like, Andy, and like I definitely bombarded him with it. I was like, Andy, I got this thing. Do you want to do it? He's like, yeah, I'd love to do it. Here's my timeline. I was like, no, it's already recorded and I'm putting it up on Bandcamp next week. Do you want to do it or not? And he was like, dude, he's like, there's gonna be no PR for it. There's no like campaign. And I was like, yeah, man, it's totally fine. Like, I already paid for the 100 tapes. And he's like, cool. Well, I will put it out on CD. You put it out on tape. We'll do 50-50 split and sell what we can. And it'll be on Sell the Heart. And I was like, cool. And then, honestly, I feel like it was more of a burden than a blessing for him. I think he still probably has a bunch of the tapes, but either way,
Do you still have any tapes?
hell yeah, I got a bunch of them in my closet.
Oh, all right. I want one.
Yeah, for sure. No problem. I carry him to every show we
I bought
play.
the record from Andy like right
Hell
away.
yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I ordered the record right after I heard it that first night.
Nice. Hell yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, every other day I'm like, Andy, how many have we sold? Andy, how many have we sold? Andy, how many have we sold? But yeah, so like honestly, when the Little Low LP was done before the Unseemlier LP, and like I honestly didn't know if Andy would be down. I'm in 2 bands on his label currently, and I didn't want to like push my luck or anything, but I was like, this is the Little Low record, and like you are a label that I respect. Like I've sent it out to a bunch of other labels, but like if you want to do it, let's do it. And yeah, he liked it. And then that one ended up being a split with Thousand Island in Canada and Water Slide in Japan. So it's got like pretty good distribution, and it's definitely out on some continents that I hope to go. I mean, Little Low already went to Canada, as you witnessed, but only Montreal. So I'm sure we'll go back. But yeah, he wanted to do that, but then I was like, oh man, did I burn this bridge? Is he gonna like not want to put out the Unseemlier LP now? But no, he's cool with everything. And I mean, again, both bands are doing. Little Low just got back from the 5-day weekend, and we're playing Fest. Unseemlier has a 5-day weekend in October, and then we're playing Fest as well. And then I think we're hopefully going to do another 5-dayer before the end of the year. And we're just we're trying to do as much as you can as a group of, I think the age range is like 35 to 43 or something like that between both bands. So like everybody's trying to like maintain real life and having a job, but also like still doing this type of shit pretty often. Cause again, I don't want 100 LPs collecting dust in Andy's closet. I'm gonna feel like a dick.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and I know, like I see, there's always, you guys are always playing shows, and one band or the other, you are, and
yeah,
that's it. It's again, that's my hat's off to you, because you're working hard. You're working hard. That's what I don't think people quite get. So I know I didn't, like, I thought like, because like in the 90s, there was so much money in the music industry, right? And everybody was making money, and then all of a sudden no one was making money. And like I think it really took me probably to about like 2012 to realize like the bands I love so much, like they're just working regular jobs because there's no money in this shit.
Yeah.
It sucks because you deserve it, because it's your art. And I think there's a value to art. And I think that like it's so underappreciated in the United States than it is everywhere else. So like,
very true.
And I feel like I try to like help with people like, hey, like hopefully you can get over to Europe, because like I know they appreciate the arts a lot more, but I know you're also still not making a whole lot of money by touring in Europe, right? Like as a so it's just like, hopefully, I don't know, because I mean it's essentially being in a band and having a job, right? That's 2 full-time jobs. You're in 2 bands and then you book shows too. You know what I mean? Like, so hey, some of us can't stop, right? That's how I am, dude. I do the podcast, I have the record club, I have these other projects I want to get off the ground. And like everyone's like, "Oh, you're making money." I'm like, "I'm not making any money. I'll be lucky if like the Patreon pays for like the fees for the website." You know what I mean? Like I'm doing this because for a couple reasons. One, because I feel like I need to do it. It's just something I have to do. And the other thing is like because I want someone in the middle of like Idaho to hear a band like Unseemlier, right? I that's what I want. Like I want someone to hear something like how I had to consume music when I was a kid. And it was like the radio, and then you just went to the music store and you found a cassette tape or a record, and then you look at it, and when they thank these other bands, that's how you find new bands. And
thank you list. The thank you list is and like you were talking about earlier, bands don't do sound clips anymore. I mean, I think I'm the one who ended up vetoing it, but Unseemlier was going to have a thank you list in the record because, like all of us are like when you talk to someone nowadays, you're like, oh, like I remember compilation CDs. I would go to Strawberries in like 99 and I'd buy like a Plea for Peace compilation and it would have At the Drive-In, it would have Converge, it would have 88 Fingers Louie, it would have all of these different bands. And that's how you found your new favorite bands for $3 because everybody's fucking broke. And then you look through, say you loved Converge, and then you go through Converge's thank you list. They thank The Hope Conspiracy, they thank American Nightmare, they thank Botch. You get all those records. And that was at the start of the internet where I think mp3.com was the thing. So every band could have a profile, but they could only put up 2 songs. So I knew 2 AN songs. I knew 2 Hope Conspiracy songs. I knew 2 Converge songs. And those still to this day are my favorite songs by those bands. But it was a hunt. There was something about it where like, I don't know. Again, like you said, you're a very lyrical person. I feel like a lot of people don't read the lyrics anymore. It's like they love, and that's fine. You consume how you consume, and you enjoy what you enjoy. But like, if you were to see me seeing a band I've loved since 2005, I know every word to every single song that they're playing that I like because that was like you just knew them back then. Like you read the lyric book like it was fucking homework.
Oh yeah.
A totally different world.
I talk about it too. Like you rip out the J card from a cassette tape and it looks like a CVS receipt, right? And
dude.
You're just reading every song.
Unfolds. Yeah.
It's just like and that's the difference between like like the gen pop and lifers, right? When it comes to music, like, and I have this conversation so often with people because like we live in a single world. We live in a single serving like instant gratification world, and it sucks. It sucks because like you all put a lot of like work into it. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I just like some people I've argued with people about like, oh, the day of the album is over. Like, no, it's not. It's really not. Like you just like when somebody who loves music goes looking for it, you have to look for the people that you got to look for the listeners too, right? You got to, it's a balance there.
There's always going to be someone who wants it. There's always going to be some collectible. Like, I mean, I always harp on this one, but like when I was in punk bands in the mid 2000s, like punkflation exists and I'd never wanted to. I still believe that a 7-inch should be $5 and an LP should be $10 and a shirt should be $10. But now all these pressing places are going to cost $1 million to do all this shit. Every price has to go up, sadly. But I remember I was in a band and we were pressing a 7-inch. And it was like 2 or 3 week turnaround because no one gave a fuck about records. And then the next year we were pressing a 7-inch and someone had just bought the Beatles discography and was repressing it. We got a 6 to 8 month quote before we could get the records back. And it just fucking destroyed everything from there. It was like a cheap collectible thing. And then it happened again with cassettes. And now cassettes are popular again and it's hard to get those fucking pressed. But the funny thing is, Unseemlier has CDs, and we played with a younger band the other day, and 2 of the members bought the CD, And then the band left. And then the guitarist ran back in and was like, yo, you got CDs? And I was like, yeah. And they all bought a CD.
It's
And I
like a
was like,
collector's thing now. Is CDs a collector's thing
dude,
now?
it's coming back. It's the cheap collector item. Dude, every band needs to press CDs right now
That's
for a little
true.
bit.
That makes sense because it is cheaper. It's cheap. It's probably the cheapest of the
This is the cheapest format right now. And this isn't like a jewel case with a booklet or anything. This is literally like cardboard poly wrapped, just a disc. Just a disc. And they were like, you got CDs? I was like, psh. So you want all of them for $5? You can have the whole stack. Like, I haven't sold these yet. But but no, it's great. I think there's always going to be collectors of physical media, and the same thing. Like me and Christine have been worried about it. When we go to thrift stores, we look for rare movies that we are going to want to watch that probably aren't going to be on streaming services soon. So like, I don't know. Right next to me, I've got Empire Records. I don't know if that's number one. I don't know if that'll ever go out of style. But like I Heart Huckabees. I picked up Orange County recently because I was afraid that I was never going to see it again.
Now, are you picking up DVDs or VHS?
I got DVDs actually because a VHS is more bulky and they. I know a disc can scratch, but a tape can fucking shred inside the machine. Like the amount of times that happened while VHSs were still like a functional media, like I don't know. And they're harder to like. I could get rid of all the cases, but put 100 DVDs in a CD book and like walk it out the door. But 100 VHSs is 3 fucking Home Depot boxes. And I'm not getting any younger,
Right.
I'm not trying to carry that shit around for the rest of my life.
And then unless you know how to fix a VCR, it's gonna age out really. Like,
yeah.
It's already aged out, but yeah.
Which is like another thing. Like you can't, it's like. It's definitely going to be hard to find someone to fix one of those soon, too. You're going to have to know a guy who knows a guy who like does it in his spare time in a garage and buys the parts like in bulk by the hundreds on eBay for 99 cents or something. I have an obsession with iPods, and I still have 2.
Do you?
Yeah, hell yeah. Because, and this is again, skating with headphones in. Where the current iPhone headphone cord goes in snaps off immediately if I skate with it. And I won't do AirPods because if I fall, they bounce out. They're worth a lot of money. What if I fall? What if it falls out? I skate over it. Like I'd be so pissed. And like everybody in my life's like, they don't fall out anymore. Bullshit. I fall really hard. I fall really hard all the fucking time.
I must have oversized earlobes or ears because like they're always fun. I'm always catching them. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, that's a fucking $200 thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So I only skate with corded headphones, and actually both of my iPods were fully dead recently. I left one alone for a couple weeks, and then I plugged it in, and it started again today. Or well, not today, but a few days ago. But my friend Mike lives in Austin, Texas, and he repairs tiny electronics. So I'm like, the day it actually dies, I'm shipping them both to him to refix. Because yeah, I've had over the past however many years since iPods haven't been popular, I'd say once every 2 years I post on any social media I have, do you have an old iPod? Can I buy it off you? And yeah, it's just, I don't know. I kind of always want to have one, but I know eventually it's going to be completely dead.
Do you have a favorite model? Like a favorite?
Not really. Anyone that fucking works and has, I don't know, some good mix of techno and fucking D-beat on it. Really depends.
I remember when I finally bought an iPod, like the iPhone came out. So
yeah,
it was obsolete right away.
I always had like
so much money on it.
I'd always have like I bought a T-Mobile Sidekick when they were out of style. So like, the wealthier friends or the friends who grew up a little better off than me, they'd have the brand new iPod, and then next Christmas they'd get the new one, and I'd buy their old one from them like for a quarter of the price. And I've always been technologically behind. Like this is a iPhone X, like you said, that you still have. Like this was gifted to me last year to get rid of my 9, which was like, if it was on for more than 30 minutes consecutively, it would burn a hole in my pocket. Like the skin on my thigh would be red. But yeah, I've never been like the most technologically advanced, and it shows with the iPod. But I'm surprised I didn't do VHS instead of DVD now that you mention it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I hope I didn't just open up another door.
no, my back hurts enough. I don't need
Yeah.
that.
Right
iPod
on.
is functional and tiny to carry.
Right on, man. Right on. So how long have you been like writing songs? Have you always like wrote songs and everything like that, or?
Um, yeah, I would say, even so, like, I know earlier I mentioned that drums is like my main thing, but I got a bass, I think in '98 or something. Before I had drums, I got a bass and a combo amp, and I think my like two of my first bands. One of them was a death metal band, and one of them was like a pop punk band. Like Blink-182 had just gotten really popular, but I also liked Cannibal Corpse at the time. You know, Duality, Life, whatever.
Yeah, got to balance it.
Exactly. The two genres, Cannibal Corpse and Blink-182.
Like,
Uh, anyway, um, so I had a bass, and I was playing bass in the death metal band, and then with some friends of mine, but not my best friends. And then my best friend, who like I generally rode BMX with, he was like, "I want to be in a band," and he's the one who liked Blink-182. He was the other side of the fence. It's like, "I want to be in a band." And our friend already had a guitar, and I had a bass. So I was like, "Cool, get drums." He's like, "No, I want to play bass." And I was like, "Well, I play bass." He's like, "Yeah, I don't care." And he went and bought a bass anyway. So I had to buy drums. And then eventually my brother needed a drummer, and he's 2 years older than me and was cooler than me then, but is not cooler than me now. So I blame both of them, Ro and my brother Tom, for making me get drums. But originally in the death metal band, I wrote a song called Death and Destruction, where I wrote all the lyrics, and then I wrote the bass line, and they filled everything else out. And then I feel like even in the bands that I played drums in with my brother, like I would write lyrics to certain songs, and like me and him would sit down and he'd bounce ideas off me. And like one of the bands we were in like 2001 was really, really trying to sound like Thursday. So like I was screaming in the background while he's singing. Um but yeah, I guess since the beginning I've been writing. Whether it's been good or not is up to the public, but but I've been doing it. I've been doing it for a long time.
That's good. That's good. I think I use writing because, like we were saying, like you said earlier about writing to get it out, like to get, you know what I'm saying, like to kind of get that out and to express yourself. Like when I was young, I didn't know how to express myself, and I kind of still don't, but I use writing as that vehicle to do it because when I was young, like I didn't know what to do other than like freak out. You know what I mean? Just freak out and just lose my mind and like, and have a panic attack and then be violent,
Yeah.
So like when I learned about creative writing, like when I was young, I was like, oh, this is like, I feel normal now. Like after, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's why I asked, like, if you've always been writing, if it's always been if it's always done that thing for you,
Yeah, it kind of has. I definitely have like a cache of stuff that like couldn't really be lyrics
Yeah.
that I've never published that I've always wanted to, but is the inner demons inside of me are like, "Oh, you're a loser. No one wants to read your writing." Blah 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 blah. Eventually, maybe it'll come out. I've toyed with the idea of just like having a zine of shit that I've written on the merch tables of the bands I play in, and like not really trying to do anything else with it, just having it be there. And zinesters and people who like that type of shit will check it out. But like I don't. I've had like wild fantasies of like writing movies and shit, but that's like, I wish, in a perfect world, that's something, but
Yeah, I wrote screenplays for like
nice.
almost 20 years. I didn't do anything with any of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did for like 20 years. I mean, I was writing screenplays,
When I was like really like I was like only touring in bands, and like in between I'd like get like a Planet Fitness $10 a month, and like I'd just spend days in the gym writing movies in my head to like, I don't know, Sepultura or some shit. Like I'd like write like crazy war epics in my head and then never actually do anything with it. Same style. I have like I definitely have like some old notes on my laptop that are like should be screenplays, definitely. But that's not my strong suit. I do the music because I can hide behind an instrument,
Yeah,
It's not just all me.
Yeah.
I have an instrument and 3 other people to throw the blame at if you don't like it.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you ever do that zine idea, let me know because I'd be super interested in reading it. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like if
I do that thing, like I just have a collection of like essays that I'm putting out soon, and like I just like it's
you're
the
actually
first
putting it out.
Yeah, as an
awesome.
audiobook, but as an audiobook. So
Okay.
yeah, so and like I don't know, I might do something with print too, but for right now I feel like because it's my platform audio, so why not?
Yeah.
And it's weird, right? Because like I've never put anything out before, so I'm just like,
Yeah,
it's like nerve-wracking,
pushing yourself beyond that comfort level is definitely hard, and like it's hard. Again, it's hard enough as a lyricist but I have fucking 4 instruments and feedback and a bunch of other stuff behind it. Like if someone, and again, like we said earlier, sometimes people don't necessarily pay attention to lyrics as much anymore, but pen to paper or just voice on an audio recording, that's a whole nother world. And like, I've thought about it a million times, but I've never actually pulled the trigger on it. And I don't know, maybe 38's the year. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, I think it should be.
All right, maybe. I don't know.
Well,
I did
like
actually.
Your lyrics. I like your lyrics, so I know I'll like the writing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did actually write a zine once because, but it never actually got published. My friend wanted to do it with me, and I sent him all the info, and it never happened. And I no blame whatsoever. But he's the one who could like do a layout and make it look good. Like I couldn't do a layout, but I did a 10-day sleep study for like at the beginning of COVID. I moved back to Massachusetts for about 11 months. I did a 10-day sleep study, and I like wrote a zine. I wrote extensive notes the entire time, like trying to like I could have no outside stimulation. Like I brought a guitar and a tiny battery powered amp. And then I bought a bunch of skate DVDs and a bunch of old Thrashers. But other than that, I could only play board games with the nurses or get media that they had already. The DVD player in the room didn't have a clock on it, and they taped over the red button for when it played because I wasn't allowed to have any external light or anything. And I think that it was they were doing like sleep deprivation tests for what the human body can take as far as like I think it was like FDA regulations for like pilots type shit. But the one thing I had to sign before I went into it was that they were legally allowed to make me stay up for 72 hours straight. With no like and like if I was about to fall asleep, a nurse would come in and play a board game with me. And the whole thing was like you didn't know. Like you didn't know what sleep what section of the whole fucking sleep thing you were getting. And I remembered like I was like really fucking delusional. And then finally they're like, all right, it's time to go to bed. And I was like, great. And then on the very last day in my notes, I was like, I think I should have been let out like 5 hours ago. Like I think I'm getting to like the 10-day mark. And like right after I wrote that, the doctor came in, he's like, all right, I got good news. We're going to let you out in a few hours. I was like, all right, awesome. He's like, do you have any questions? I was like, yes. Am I one of the people that you made stay awake for 72 hours? He looked at me, he goes, yeah, sorry, that was you. So like I was fucking.
You had no idea.
No,
like
there's no clocks. No, the only thing I wrote letters. I wrote letters to people while I was in there, and I could receive letters, but they could open the letters to make sure that the people didn't write what day or time it was or anything like that. I had no windows. It was all like fluorescent lighting. And there could be no like outside stimulant that wasn't like so like they knew I was vegan, so they fed me vegan, but they made my meals like they had the meals, they had anything. Like I couldn't bring candy in with me or chips, and nothing that omitted light. So like I couldn't have a cell phone on me, no newspaper because I couldn't know the day. It was like completely taken everything. It was like what a child's nightmares nowadays are about. No screens, no screens.
I I think I would go crazy.
It's the willpower in me that thinks I
Yeah.
can still run 7 miles, not fucking drop dead. And I did it. It was fine. And I
Yeah.
think I got like $5,000 or something sick like that.
Oh,
But,
that's cool.
but yeah, I wrote a whole zine
Yeah.
and then it never came out. So maybe
Yeah.
that'll come out at some point too.
Hell yeah.
But I
Hell
feel like
yeah.
that might be boring. I don't know.
You know something else that you do that is a lost art, and I appreciated it when I saw it. You still make flyers.
Mm-hmm.
You hand out flyers. And I saw so you and Jordan at the other night were handing out flyers at the One Fall show.
Yep.
I was like, fuck yeah,
Yeah.
And then you gave me one at O'Brien's. That's
Yeah,
the
the
first
Glowing Brain show.
Yeah,
I think that. So what I also another thing I do is I put a handbill of an actual flyer on one side, but on the flip side is a list of all of the shows I have coming up in the area because 90s walking out of the Palladium, someone would give you a fucking list of everything that was happening that month. Um, and yeah, I always flip it over like, oh, whole list of shows in the area if you're interested, because I could be at a One Fall show where like people like melodic punk rock, but then I'm at a Glowing Brain show where like bands are trying to sound like Motorhead, like two, not the same realm, but I don't always book the same realm. So I'm hoping that, there's a whole list, something on there you might like. But on some like weird, like witchcraft, oogie boogie type bullshit, I feel like if I stop flyering, my shows are all going to fail. Like I won't, I'm going to do it, and I'm probably going to do it until I die in some form.
I like it. I like that because again, I think that's something that the internet is swell and all, but the algorithms fucking suck.
Yep. You miss a lot of shit.
Yeah, and we just made like a submit your event on the website, and it goes right to a calendar. And then once the date's over, it goes to a past events thing. And I'm like trying to get momentum with that because I'm like, there's no algorithm here. Like it's all right there.
It's funny you mentioned that because last night Christine was like, let's do Lower Worlds. Let's do a show list where people can submit to it. And once it's gone, it'll knock itself off the calendar. Because again, there's no algorithm. You don't miss things. But also, there's people who don't want to exist on the internet. There's people who don't want Instagram, and aside from a fucking literal like a pin board at like, I don't know, Veggie Galaxy, or like Armageddon Records, like I pin everything there. I tape it up on any pole that I feel like it won't just get ripped down in 24 hours. But there's people in our subcultures that don't want to exist on the internet, and like
I wish I could.
Same. But those people deserve to be there just as much as me or you. So like, I don't know. I'm hoping that they get the flyer and they're fucking stoked on it,
Hell yeah.
I had people in Oakland specifically who were like, thank you for doing this. I hate social media. This is wonderful that like you like that. I put this on my fridge and I know what's happening around here.
Awesome.
But yeah, I feel like my shows will fail if I don't do it. So not only is it something that I think is personally cool, but I'm also superstitious.
Fair enough.
Nice.
Listen, man, I know you got stuff to do today, so I'm not going to keep you for anything longer. But you said you have any shows coming up for either band or any shows that you're promoting that you want to talk about?
I wish I had the flyer next to me now.
Yeah.
No, I know that I have August 21st at Faces is No Lights from Oakland, which are actually like, I mentioned how like I'd never met Glowing Brain, but they knew me from booking shows. So No Lights with Teardrops and Bedtime Magic and Unseemlier at Faces on August 21st. And No Lights are really good friends of mine from Oakland. August 28th at O'Brien's, I have Spark of Life from LA, which a funny thing about that band is that for a while they didn't actually have a drummer and they're old hardcore heads. So Fred Armisen is the drummer on most of their most recent recordings. Cause yeah, he used to be a punk drummer. So he's on their recordings, but Spark of Life from LA, Something Outrageous from Arizona. Unseemlier is also on that one. And then Toluca Lake and Super Down. Then September 20th, Little Low is up at Moonbase 1 with our friends Brackish from New Jersey, Sadlands from New York, and Yes Chef. Then October 3rd, $500, Signals Midwest, Little Low, and Hey I'm Outside at Faces.
Faces.
Um,
I love Faces so much.
yeah, Faces
It's
is
such a
sick.
far drive though for me, but
Yeah,
I love it there though.
because you're
I
up by
go
Worcester, right?
yeah, I'm outside. I'm in between like Worcester and Providence. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's a
guitarist
haul, but I
Unseemlier.
go there. I go there. I haven't gone to Moonbase 1 because it's impossible for me to get to Salem ever.
Little
So
Low played the other night, and Brad, I think he drove an hour and 40 minutes from Worcester to
yeah.
Salem as fuck. Last show I have on the books is October 8th, and it's Squint from St. Louis, Missouri, and Prim from Seattle. They're both on Sunday Drive Records. And then Little Low and Unseemlier are both playing Fest this year. So if anybody's going to Gainesville,
Hell yeah.
here's this. Little Low Friday night, Unseemlier Saturday night.
Have you played Fest before?
Not in a band that I actually am in, but my friend Alex, who is the head booker at Gilman in Berkeley, California, for the past 3 years, maybe I've filled in on drums for his band Startle at Fest. So like I fly down and we practice the day before and then play the set. But yeah, I mean, none of my actual physical bands have ever played Fest. So this will be my first year as like a contributing writing musician playing Fest. And then Unseemlier is actually playing Tampa pre-Fest on the Thursday before as well.
Right on. Right on.
Us and All the Humanity.
That's awesome. And I'm hoping I can catch one of these shows. I have to check my work schedule, but it'll be exciting to see you guys live because I'm like I said, I was pumped from the moment I heard you guys. I was like, this is it, yeah. And I just think like, as a whole, like what the New England music community has always been such a huge part of my life, and like the fact that I'm 44 and it still is like. It's all like and they're mostly like newer bands from the ones I was listening to back in the late 90s, early 2000s and stuff. So it's like to me, like I think we every so often we get these pockets of like special time, right? And I feel like right now is a real good time for what's going on over here.
We're on a crazy upswing right now, I feel like. And it's across the board. It's not just the stuff that me and you were into, but you came to that metal show I booked, and I'm not much of a metal dude, but it sold out O'Brien's on a Monday night, which is nothing to sneeze at on a fucking Monday night,
Yeah.
And it was a Leather Lung, so like a local metal band, party metal band, and then Glowing Brain from Oakland, and then Cartridge, like a D-beat punk band that I used to be roommates with two of them. So I was like, oh, this is a little different. It'll bring a little bit different of a crowd, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
It was great, and that's a completely different scene than me, I'm normally super involved in, but I was very happy with it. Same thing, like another Oakland band I booked, my friends, they're like a hardcore punk band. I did that on a Tuesday night at O'Brien's one night and sold it out too. Like that scene, like D-beat punk hardcore is crazy in this area right now. I feel like everything that Little Lower Unseemlier is involved in is doing really fucking well right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's like just so many, like everything across the board, I feel like is doing really well right now in this area. And, it's cool to be part of it.
I hadn't been to a metal show in like maybe 20 years. And I went to that. My ears, dude, glowing brains, like they were so loud. I loved it. I wish I brought my earplugs, but I'm old and I forget things, so I forgot my earplugs that night. But like that was awesome. And then Leather Lung reminded me of like the like late 80s, early 90s post-hardcore that eventually evolved into new metal by the end of the decade.
Yeah. I mean, they covered Dunderkiss 65 by White Zombie, so
that's
I was like,
exactly what they reminded me of. And then they played that song and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Yeah,
it was so sick.
It was awesome. So.
Yeah, I feel like you said, we're part of a very special time in music in this area, underground music. And it also might just be because we're all struggling so hard to get through everything with the way the world is and the lack of venues in Boston and all that type of shit. But maybe we're all really rallying to get through this awful time in politics and this lull of venues that we have that is all culminating right now. So we're all just buckling down and doing our best, and it's, going really well.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Where can people find you on the internet? Where can they find Unseemlier, Little Low? Where can they find you to book shows? Do you have a website or anything for that?
No. Little Low has a website because Christine's much more professional than I am. All the bands are on Instagram. Both bands are on Instagram. Lower Worlds Booking is the booking Instagram. You could DM me. I literally, like every other person on the planet now, I obsessively look at my phone. But yeah, Instagram for any of it. All the bands are on all the streaming services. I know that half of them are fucking evil, and I wish that I could beat them just like the rest of you. But, if you can't beat them, join them or some shit like that. But yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, all that dog shit. Just go to Bandcamp if you hate all those things, though, because both bands have Bandcamps. And that's like, I guess, the most righteous thing we have left.
Even though Epic Games. Like,
yeah.
Who knows what they're going to do with it, though? Who knows what they're going to do with it?
Exactly.
I think I'm up to like 900 titles in my Bandcamp.
Oh, okay, cool. It was wild because when I was living in Oakland, they opened a fucking storefront in downtown Oakland that had like 2 record shelves and like a really nice decked out stage. And they maybe did like 6 shows, and then I don't know what's happening with it now, but like I think one of them was like a Spiritual Cramp show. And like they had like a form to submit. So like I submitted and they got right back to me. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're not doing it right now. Sorry, but maybe next time." But yeah, I feel like it like was like a flash in the pan where Bandcamp had a storefront that they were trying to do.
That's awesome. That would have been, yeah. I think they sold since then or something. Or maybe
probably.
Yeah. I think they own their. Yeah, I don't know how all that stuff works. All I know, it's like you said, it's like probably the best place to go to support the artist is to Bandcamp.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Or directly through a website to get
Yeah, Little Low has a website. I think it's littlelow.com or littlelowband.com. Unseemlier, our Instagram is just our name. Lower Worlds Booking Instagram is just the name. And yeah, that's about it, really. You'll find me on assorted podcasts talking about myself and not loving it, but somehow loving it at the same time simultaneously.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
No, it's fine. Like I said, like I surprise myself every time I do one, and I'm like, "Oh no, you like talking. What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
But again, I have a screw loose somewhere. So,
Right on. Mike, man, let's do this again. If you like, for whatever, like if you just want to come back and talk, or if you want to like come back and talk more about the booking side of things, we can do that. Whatever you want. Just hit me. All right.
For sure. Sounds good, bud. I appreciate you.
All right. And that's the show. I want to thank Mike again for being today's guest on the Struggling Artist Podcast. In the show notes, you will find all links to Unseemlier. And also, since I've got you here and you're listening, and I know you're in the Boston area or close to it, head over to O'Brien's on Thursday, August 28th. That's this Thursday. You can check out Unseemlier over there. They got a show that night. So make sure you head over there. Support them. I want to thank Chris Chavez, Jeff Bousquet, and Arya Rad for being part of the Struggling Artist Podcast team. Check them out on the Instagram. Chris at 716 The Sound, Jeff at JRB Image, and Arya at coffin_salesman. I want to thank Mark over at State Line Records for sponsoring the podcast. Head over to statelinerecords.com, see what they have in stock, grab some records, support a local business right out of Salem, Massachusetts. Also, if you're looking to do a little podcast advertising, hit me up. I'm always willing to sell out. Trev at thestrugglingartistpodcast.com is where you can contact me for that. Thank you to the band Losers Circle for letting us use their song Great Illusion of Time off of their album Took Long Enough. Thank you so much. Make sure you go check them out too. There's always a link on the website so you can get right to their Bandcamp under sponsors. Under our sponsors, you can find Losers Circle. You can go to their Bandcamp, pick that record up. It's a banger. Hey, if you're over there supporting us on Patreon, I appreciate you. Some things happen in the world, and now I'm going to have more time to to do more shows over there. That's what I need to do. Podcast more. I don't have enough on my plate already. But I have been slacking on the Struggling Artist Radio, and it is coming back soon. I promise you. Big changes happening for me. So head over to patreon.com/podcast TSA. Check out what we have going on. The Struggling Artist Radio is what I just mentioned. That is a weekly radio show. It was a weekly radio show. It's going to be a weekly radio show where it might be me or I might have a guest DJ in there running the board. So make sure you check it out over at patreon.com/podcast TSA. If you listen, if you share, if you tell somebody about us, or if you just suggest we should talk to somebody, thank you. Because without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. So I thank you all for that. If you want to reach out, Trev at thestrugglingartistpodcast.com, or you could leave us a voicemail or a text on the hotline, the Struggling Artist Hotline, which is 774-570-1552. As we are getting closer to the end of the year, we're gonna have to start pushing that a little bit more for the anniversary show. Hopefully we can do a big one this year. We didn't do much of one last year, but this year I want to do a real big one. So the phone number there is 774-570-1552. All right, it's time to get out of here. We have a song to play as promised in the beginning of this episode. This is Unseemlier off of the album I Have a Screw Loose Somewhere, and the song is called I Know I'll Love It. That's Why I Hate It. Until next week, take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you then.
How am I not myself?
How am I not myself?
Myself.
How am I not myself?
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 How am I not myself? How am I not myself? How am I not myself?